Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. Betty's not here today. She was taking a vacation day because she had late plans last night at church. She was hosting a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And so she does like all these games and stuff, and she's really good at it. And so I was going to tucker her out.
I wonder how it went. She put a lot of thought into her game. You were even helping her kind of formulate how that was going to look.
Yeah, she always does a good job with that stuff. What'd you do this weekend?
What did I do? I did the golf simulator. That was awesome.
Did you like it more or less than Top Golf? Because you're not actually playing, you're not actually hitting golf balls out to the range, but then you're actually getting to play a course virtually, which is cool.
I think that I like it. I think that I like Top Golf a little bit more, which is fun.
Okay.
At Top Golf, you can actually do something really similar. Like you can simulate playing a golf course.
Oh, you can?
Top Golf, you can play like St. Andrews.
Oh.
And since they have all the tracker in the ball, if you hit the ball, it'll act like you hit, you have 300-yard shot on this. But this place, it's so simple and so easy. Hit the ball, hit the screen, goes a certain way, pick it back up, put it down, hit again. Like
so you actually do hit a ball and it goes into the screen. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, you press a button and it is smart technology where it learns where you like your, ball elevated for the driver. Then you can press like right or left to, aim your shot right or left. You putt, which is interesting. Yeah. They say that to the screen, it's like if you hit the ball and it just hits the screen, that's about a 16-foot putt. So you kind of have to dial in how you play it like that.
That's cool.
It's a blast.
That's cool. A friend of mine has a gift certificate to that, and he's like, we should go play. And my shoulders have been so messed up, I couldn't swing a golf club to save my life. But I wanted to go watch. And so I think now, I'm curious now if I could swing. I think I might could swing a golf club now.
You could also play, a par 3 course if you didn't want to slam a driver.
Sure.
I think it takes a second because you almost have to convince yourself that you're playing inside and that it's okay for you to
hit hard,
full swing, because it's not impossible to whiff hard enough that the ball doesn't go right at the screen. And it can ricochet here and there. And there was one person whose ball ricocheted and hit somebody's glass and knocked it over.
Oh, no way!
It's like 1 in a million.
Yeah,
but it's kind of
doable,
possible.
Did he get extra points for that?
It's like just added it to his bill.
Yeah,
but it is cool, though, and it's not perfect. Like, if you play and you hit into a bunker, there's not a way to replicate hitting
a bunker shot.
But
there's not.
It's so if I usually hit a shot 50 yards, then when I'm in the bunker, it calculates and says you're going to need to hit this ball 50% harder to achieve the result you want.
That could be a good guy gift, like for the person that you like. What do I get them? And then you're like, there you go.
And what's fun is that from that, you had talked about how you have kind of like your simulator for racing. Racing game.
I love it.
And that's what led me into I would love someday, very far into the future, man cave, and to get my own little simulator.
They do make those.
They're like 5 figures, though. They are healthy.
Yeah, for the real good ones. I think there are other ones that are a little less than that that I've seen on Temu. No, I've seen some that are a little less than that. And there's this other new one that they're doing on online. It's like it's a pad and you hit with the pad.
I've seen that,
and it shows you how you hit and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
It's fun. I would recommend it for anyone who just wants to golf, but it's December. It's not conducive to go play in 32-degree weather on a Saturday.
Did you still dress golfy?
I almost put on my golf shoes for
it. You should have.
But I decided against it once I got there because I don't want to be that guy. Yeah. It's like going to Top Golf and bringing a glove. Yeah. Which I do.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like swinging a golf club without it.
Really?
I feel like I'm going to throw it.
I've watched kids send a golf club over the thing, or I've watched people fall off the level into the net. Just crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Scares me.
So there you go. That could be a good Christmas gift. Speaking of Christmas gifts, Gavin already got his from me.
What a day.
Today. He's having a good day. Oh, boy. This CEO from United Healthcare being shot story is so crazy. So they can't find the guy, which is really interesting because they have really good pictures of his face, his eyes. It's like there's how no one in his life has been like, that's Brad. And then called somebody, which leads more credibility to the story of him shooting this guy out of, frustration over the healthcare system and it being like a crime of passion and frustration. And the fact that maybe his family isn't turning him in because they've had this messed up thing and they somehow don't think he's wrong. Mm-hmm. But what's really weird about this is there's been like this volcanic eruption of emotion that has been kind of boiling for years about healthcare stuff. And so they're using this guy as like the poster child for this is what happens when you have healthcare so bad things happen to people because of the frustration. And some people, which you can't do, are actually kind of praising him for his actions,
which is not,
and that's not what you want
not
either.
Great.
You definitely want a system where it gets fixed, but you don't want to have to murder people to fix it. You know, I get people's frustration over medical insurance industry. It's a disaster. Like the overcharges, the excesses, the greed, putting money over people's health, you know, a lack of empathy, massive ethical problems, you know, and it is a mess. And I haven't even had to navigate it badly. I know people that have loved ones with chronic illnesses, like Becca from afternoons. She has been dealing with this for 8 or 9 years.
It's
a disaster. You spend every week you're calling somebody and fighting with somebody about some bill or some overcharge or some ridiculous thing that they're like, well, that's just the system. And like I would go nuts. I don't think I could do that, you know. And so I went to my doctor over on Friday. Remember we were talking about I was really frustrated when I called my doctor. I was sick. I had a sinus infection. I'm like, I just need to get in real quick and get, you know, a Z-Pack or whatever, you know. And I thought that shouldn't be a problem. Used to in the past, because what happened was I went to a doctor here, and she was great. Like you'd call, she'd get you in. Then they got bought out. She left. They got bought out by a bigger company, and so now Vanderbilt's running it. And it's a disaster. It's like, okay, well, I don't feel good. I need to get in. I'll try and I'll kill 3 birds with one stone. Here are the other 2 things I need. And they're like, okay, we'll see you in March. Like, no, I'm sick now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can go to a walk-in clinic. No, I want to go to my doctor. Like, this is ridiculous.
Like, are you legitimately booked from now until you have 100 straight days of no availability?
Yeah. Oh, we can put you on a cancellation list. I'm like, but I'm sick.
That's silly.
Yeah, and so I was hopping mad on Friday. When I found this out from my wife, we were still in the middle of the show. We were down to the end of the show. I almost put a best of in for the last hour. I was so close, dude. I was so mad. I couldn't focus on anything else. This might be like some of the symptoms of ADHD, which is something else I want to talk to him about. But like I was so mad and so focused that I wanted to deal with this problem now. I didn't want it to wait another 10 minutes or 2 hours. But I was calm. I waited. And then I called my wife. I said, hey, I'm running one errand first. And then I'm going to the doctor to talk to them directly. And then I'll be home. She's like, oh, boy. I'm like, don't worry.
That's how we all felt.
I'll be really calm. I'll be nice. I said, I'll be the best version of me. So I go in there. And I meet the lady. She's an older lady and working the front desk. And I'm like, okay, it's not her fault. You know, she's just bound by it. And she was really kind. I said, here's the situation. I explained to her about trying to get in. And she's like, yeah. I said, can you answer this for me? I said, is this the modern system of medicine now, or is this just Vanderbilt? Like, is it better should I go find another doctor and handle it that way? Or is this, I'm going to find the same thing everywhere? And she's like, it's kind of like this everywhere. Like, you can't get appointments and it's hard and you have to do cancellations. I'm like, well, what is the point of you guys then? Like, if I can go to a walk-in clinic and it takes me 20 minutes of waiting and I'm going to get the same exact thing, what's the point?
Yeah, why have a primary physician?
Yeah, exactly. Well, because so many HMOs, you need to go through your primary physician, and I don't have to. I have an HSA, so I don't have to. So I was frustrated. I said, do you kind of understand? Do you see my frustration? She goes, oh, yeah, I get it. And she was older, too, so she was like...
You can't be the first person she's probably had that conversation with.
Exactly. And she was like, you know what? I'm frustrated by it as well. I said, yeah, you probably have to deal with people's anger and stuff. And, should have seen me 2 hours ago.
And she's not the one making the choices. Or she's not the one who, makes procedural choices. And...
So I'm like, you know what? I said, keep my appointment for May. I'm not even sick. I'm still coming in here. And I'm going to sit face to face with my doctor and go, what gives? Like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to be a patient here. And I'll tell you to your face, I don't want to keep doing this if this is the way it's going to run here. So I'm like, keep my appointment. I'll be here. And so I'm
March, you said?
Yeah, March. I'm not going to. I won't talk about any health stuff. I'm just going to be like, okay, we're talking about this.
I hope you're not sick that day.
Yeah, I know. That'd be a bummer. So anyway, I think, okay.
Whoa.
She goes, well, we have a Vanderbilt walk-in clinic right downstairs. I went, okay, well, that's not bad. All right, that's fine. So I can go get some medicine now. Yeah, why don't you do that? I will do that. So I walk downstairs. I walk in. Really nice waiting room, everything like that. I'm like, ooh, this does not look like a Minute Clinic at Kroger. And so I walk in, and the lady's there, and she's super kind. Like, everybody I encountered at the Vanderbilt thing was they were all really nice. But the systems is horrible. And so I go in, and the lady takes my information. She's like, well, I already got you booked. I said, well, I wasn't sure if I was going to make an appointment yet because I was curious, what does this cost? Oh, we don't know that. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know that? I'm coming in to see a doctor for an appointment. It's a walk-in clinic. It should be, well, it's based on what happens and blah, 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 and what we bill the insurance company for. I said, well, what do you average bill them for then? Anywhere from $200 to $400. They bill the insurance, and then insurance for a walk-in.
Wow.
See, this is why when you have those insurance meetings, they're like, oh, don't ever go to the ER unless you're dying, because these things happen. And certain walk-in clinics, you think it's a walk-in, they call it one, but it's a mini ER or whatever. And so I go in, and so I said, wow, that is really steep. And then I figured, okay, well, you'll have a negotiated price with them that will charge me less, correct? And she's like, yes. So I said, all right, well, just keep the appointment. I'll go in. That's fine. So I wait for about 10 minutes in the waiting room. I'm like, okay. They call me back. I'm like, okay, you guys are doing good. Let's go. I go in, I sit in the thing. Lady takes my vitals. We're still having a conversation about how much I hate healthcare that she probably didn't want to have. And she, again, so kind. They leave me there. Oh, the doctor will be in a minute. Well, 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes goes by, 20 minutes goes by. Right now, I'm almost to the point where I'm in my Panda Express line, where I was trapped at the Panda Express line. 30 minutes goes by. 45 minutes goes by.
You're still there.
I'm still there. I go, if this goes another 15, I'm clocking in an hour of just sitting here in this room. And so I finally, right at an hour's time, I walk out of the room. I go, hey, real quick, did you guys forget I was here? Oh, no, I'm sorry. The doctor's really busy, and I'll get somebody to find out why. And when I walked in, there was 2 people in the waiting room, and it's not a big place. So there's no way. They literally forgot that I was there. Because then she goes and gets the guy, and the nurse practitioner guy comes in. He spends all of less than 5 minutes with me, asks a couple questions, looks in my ears. I'm like, yeah, I got a really bad sinus thing, and I think I just need an antibiotic. He goes, okay, we'll get you an antibiotic and a steroid, and you're on your way. Literally less than 5 minutes I'm going to spend with this guy. They're going to charge insurance between $200 and $400, and it's lunacy. And to sit there and be stuck in this waiting room and just have to be sweet, this is what kills me. Especially too because people know me, which really stinks because I'd love to be the worst version of me some days, and I never can because the minute I pop off, someone else will go, hey, are you Wally from the Wally Show? But it was so frustrating, and I'm calling my wife when I'm leaving. I'm like, you're not going to believe this, because she was like, are you okay? Are you coming home? I'm like, I'd love to come home. I'm trapped. Yeah. I'm being held hostage again. At first Panda Express, now Vanderbilt. I can't get out. And so that was my Friday afternoon. I had other things I wanted to do, and I could have walked into a Minute Clinic for $75 and gotten the same exact treatment and then gone in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And so that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm not going to waste time with my primary.
Yeah, this
it's ridiculous.
Is
Why would I do this?
Because A, they can't get you in in general.
Yeah.
B, terrible handle.
Horrible experience.
On what they're doing. Especially, you could have so much more. You probably could have so much more business if you just ran it efficiently.
Yeah,
they just sound like they're lazy. And I don't know. It's hard because, maybe they were. Maybe something was really keeping Dr. blah, blah, blah.
I didn't see it. When I walked out, there was no one in the waiting room.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it.
Feels sus.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the guy was almost surprised to see me. Hey,
you're here.
What are you doing back here?
Thought we'd just wait you out.
Yeah, I thought you were going to leave. Yeah. And then when he goes, I go to leave, and he goes, okay, well, you can go through that door there so you don't have to go back through the main thing anymore. And I'm like, that's what you do. You run people out so they don't be complaining on the way out. So that was an experience, definitely for patience and trying to be kind. And I was. The thing was, here's the thing. I handled people very well. I was very kind, which is what we should do with our faith. But gosh, I was madder than a snake inside. And so maybe that's where I got to grow. I got to learn to not be mad. But then I'm like, do you have to walk a life of being run over by people who stink at their jobs?
Well, it's an industry
just because you're a believer? I don't think so.
I don't think so. And I think that Jesus had his moment of
he turned over tables.
Righteous anger.
It was righteous.
When it was in that moment. It's hard because I think you can't, again, like attack other people, but the system, which it's tough because your issues with the system, and that system is like faceless,
right?
In essence,
you can't.
It's not like there is one human being that you can go after, but that's what the United Healthcare guy, like that was a literal face that man was like, that man is head, top to bottom, responsible for whatever impact.
He's the embodiment of this, and whether it was with him or not, because they just don't know enough about it. That was what it transpired as a result of that. So really, just not saying that I get why he did it, but I'm just saying that was super frustrating. And I wish, like, again, the Bible says you're going to get angry with people. It just says, in your anger, don't sin. Yeah. So I didn't sin in my anger. I was very nice to people.
Not bad that you were angry.
Right, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe it was okay to be frustrated, angry, mad. Now, Jesus, when he flipped the tables, because everybody's like, oh, well, Jesus got mad, he flipped the tables. But he was mad at people making a mockery and profiting off of faith and keeping people from
he did it right.
Jesus. Like, that makes way more sense than I sat in a waiting room for an hour. That's righteous anger. Mine is just frustration anger.
But I think it's like tough too, because you know what the issue is, and you're like, I think I can, like, this would be the solution.
Yeah.
And you can't
fix it.
Go in and like buy said thing, let's say.
Yeah.
Just because it has to be prescribed. But I mean, we had that same issue last week where, Bennett's had all this patchy red stuff going on. And we're like, probably, based on Google, it's like, it's just eczema probably. And that's what we're thinking. It was probably eczema. We'll check on it on his next appointment. And then he's like, I should still call. I was like, you give him, and they're like, oh, you should come down right now to get that checked out. And part of me is like, man, what if it's just that? And you're going to go down there spend a lot of time, and they're just going to tell you that, and you're just going to drive back.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
All right. Let me see. We got some birthdays to do. I've got one. You got one. I'll go first.
Okay.
Hey, Wally, I have a birthday shout out. I know it's a little late, but can you mention it today? My birthday is on the 8th, and I'm turning 34. This is for Ted. Be funny if I didn't mention his name. This is for Ted. I'd also like to wish happy birthday to Jen Ledger from the band Skillety Doo.
What a cool shared
She
birthday.
has the same birthday as him. And so there you go. Jen Ledger, man, beast drummer.
She's so cool.
I love watching her play, man, and she's so good. And I like her stuff with Ledger. It's very Skillet-esque, but like a girly kind of side.
No, she's like really gifted at everything she does. Yeah, that's a good comp.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like that. So there you go. Happy birthday, Ted.
And Jen.
And then you have one?
I have one. This is Larry, again, birthday for himself. And then, again, we have this little section that says to, tell us about yourself or let us know anything about this. And then I read it, and it says, on parole in Houston.
Love it.
So,
good job.
Happy birthday, Larry.
You're in Houston. Fantastic. Let me see. I'm trying to find a clip of audio from back in the day. The Wally Show. Oh, I can't find it. It was really funny. It's actually on my demo tape. In radio, you make demo tapes. That let people know what the sound of your show is like. And this guy called me back when we were doing Total Access. I'm like, hey, it's Total Access. And he's like, hey, man. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He goes, man, I just love your show. I've been listening to you every day since I was in prison. And I'm like, whoa. And he goes on to talk. I said, whoa, back up a second. You said since you were in prison and you just got out? He's like, yeah, I just got out. I've been listening every day. I said, hey, do you know where our station is? And he's like, no, I do not. I said, good, let's keep it that way. Something you don't hear on Christian radio a lot. But one of my favorite breaks. And so it was really funny and it was cool. But yeah, I love that. The guy's on parole. Hey, man, I got people in my family with messed up past, and we all have certain messes in our lives, and so he's done his time. Good for you. I'm glad you're listening. What was his name? Or did you keep it anonymous?
Oh, well,
yeah.
No, he didn't want it to be.
There you go, Larry. Well, welcome to the other side, and I hope that your parole goes well and that you keep your freedom, because you can mess up on parole.
I know.
Like, it's easy to get thrown back in, and so I hope that he has a good parole officer, and I hope that he has good people around him that are helping him, because when you come out, it can be very difficult. Talk about systems to navigate. Just like a broken healthcare system, there's a broken penal system for sure. And so I'm glad that he's listening here. Straight and narrow type stuff, Larry. And thanks for listening to The Wally Show. And I think that's going to have to do it for our Aftercast for today. So thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.